Hey Don, hi Wayne, hi everybody. I'm making this video as I was talking with Wayne a couple of weeks ago, and we're talking about the new business model for BRI and what we are doing here in Brazil right now. So I decided to put up this presentation that I'm using this year, explaining how we are organizing BRI Brazil as a distributed autonomous organization. There's some principles that we're beginning with, but major is that we have a full team with full autonomy, which everyone will work according their talents or their interests in building this organization. So we are departing from blockchain revolution as everything that we do. There's on page 126 where Don said that the distributed autonomous enterprise will be an entity with no minimal or traditional management structure, and everything and everyone works according to specific roles and procedures coding on smart contracts. So technology providers, communities, open enterprise founders will set the agenda, execute those functions, and the company will work on those sets of rules. So that goes with what we have been working on the past 13 years. We started working with network enterprises, which are, this is where we start beginning with collaboration. We start making our tests with Blockchain Revolution and the Prosperous Organization, which was the organization form that we used to translate the book and put it on the market and publish it. Then we migrate to Prospera and our own token, what we call Prosper, which we already have distributed almost $100,000. And now we are working to build some distributed autonomous organization. BRI Brazil is going to be the first, let me say, corporation on a strict sense working that way, and there are another initiatives like Syntropy, which is very similar to Prospera, but has some new levels of organization. So we have been going through those concepts that we are seeing since we started with crypto transfer, which was considered the first ICO and successful ICO in Brazil. BlockPub, which is the editorial seal that we published Don's book, and Andres Antonopoulos' book, The Internet of Money. And we also have a network of virtual assistants, which now employs 5,000 people, and a network that is producing handcrafted food and beverage that I don't know the size of it yet, but it's already passed 1,000 people on it. All of these initiatives were consolidated in one distributed autonomous organization called Prospera, and which is now working and distributing some revenue yet for the participants. We are not invested too many effort on this since Osvaldo, my partner, passed away in 2017. That's why I'm experimenting with BRI as a company instead of working on this network. So all of our work is based on a couple of principles that we learn on this path that we have been through. The first one is what we call the change for the scarcity paradigm to the abundance paradigm, which is from an old model who believes that there is not enough for anybody, for everyone, and so as we realize that, we are afraid of shortage, so we start to stock and compete to build a vast amount of stock. As we do that, we take away from the market, and we are talking about a product, service, money, or resources. And when we take it away, stocking it, we raise costs and we exclude people, and then we improve the paradigm, saying that it's not enough for anybody, for everybody. What we look at is we're on a digital era, and in the digital era, there is enough for everyone if we believe that and start to collaborate to new models to build and increase the offer and the flow of resources, information, service, and products. And as we increase the flow of that, costs will get lower, and then we're going to include people, and if we include people, we have it for everyone. So we have an abundance of resources and people and information to do whatever we want. So as soon as we understand that this is not a problem of ownership but access, it's easier to prove that paradigm and move to the next step. So this is just not an issue of having a center, a decentralized, or distributed organization. We need to understand that we need a distributed topology of interaction and distributed topology of organization. But when it comes to materialize something, we need to understand that we cannot materialize anything using weak connections or a distributed methodology or topology. We need to start organizing on a decentralized way to materialize some projects. And when we come to the task level, we need to centralize it on a leadership, and this leadership will last as long as the task is being completed. When it's completed, this structure will return to the distributed form, look at what happens to the organization and what's the new situation that it comes, and then we start materializing the next tasks and the next project. So it will be something on a figure like that, which the organization will start pulsing and centralizing, materializing, and decentralizing, and then become distributed again. And the process will happen on an infinite loop like that, if we could draw something about it. So what we say here is that an organization to work on this paradigm should have an extended vision, not from the efficiency vision, which goes for the transaction cost reduction, and this is what's blockchain revolution is about, and that is not. This is part of the book which is talking about research costs, the contracting costs, coordination costs, and establishing trust costs. We need to see that it's not looking outside the box, but there is no box. We should have a systemic view, and we should also include efficacy, not just efficiency. So we have to innovate in business model, create business model that promotes inclusion, diversity. With inclusion and diversity, it will become exponential, but because it will fulfill the needs of many markets and many target audience, and it will be abundant by access, not ownership. So as we understand, the abundance is having what you need whenever you need on the amount that you need. So I used to say, I don't need a house on the beach, I need Airbnb app. I don't need a fancy car, but I need Uber Black or something on this same level app. So in Brazil, as an example, we have like 50 or 60% of this available industrial infrastructure for rent or for share or for collaborate. Also we have office space, also we have commercial space, also we have housing space. So we can assess all that abundance if we have a good business model. So for a blockchain revolution or a digital transformation revolution, we need to look at two visions. One vision of the efficiency to do things right, and this is a survival mode. But we have to add the efficacy view and do the right things and get evolution. We cannot have one or the other. If we're on the survival mode, we see that with a lot of companies who are very efficient, but their markets disappear, like typewriters, like Blockbuster, like Nokia, and like Kodak, and all those companies who are focused on a market and not on what's going on their markets. On the other side, we have people who are just looking at evolution and not establishing the process to survive, and they're facing difficulties. One case is Elon Musk and Tesla, which is a company who has a higher value, but we always seen on the news that they are not fulfilling their objectives and revenues. So they're always facing some struggle with the market. With that, why can we go on a more traditional way? Why does the hierarchical, verticalized organization is not working anymore? So we don't know anymore who is the real boss, because we're always looking at the objective relationships, but we're not looking the subjective relationships. So on a model of transparency, on a model of where all the information are available, it's easier if we're not dealing with those kind of situations. So we decided to look at a distributed autonomous organization on several levels. First, changing the vision just from the efficiency to a double vision on efficiency and efficacy, which the DAO will do the right things right. We changed the hierarchy from vertical centralized to horizontal and distributed hierarchy. Leadership will not more be assigned top-down from the higher management to the lower levels, but it will be assumed by someone who wants, and they declare to have the will to conduct that project or that task or their assignment or something like that. We abolished the construction of consensus by voting, but we're going to build consensus by declaring each one position, which is a process that we are testing in a couple of